We've got a special guest here, Derrick Baker, quarterback, Milton, Georgia, Milton High School, and I will let you two take it away. Derrick, it's nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks so much for coming on. I know that you've been had a busy weekend, fresh off a trip, opening weekend down in Dallas. With Cam Newton's team kind of anchoring that team. I saw a couple of highlights. You were getting in those reps, of course, to Travis Hunter's little brother Travius. You guys had that chemistry. Kind of talk about how that's been going this off season, kind of your plan, kind of leading into it. I know you guys are gearing up for spring ball down in Georgia, but kind of talk about what you've been doing on this, as far as your recruitment, your 7-on-7. You definitely are on the rise after that film that you put out this weekend, but just kind of share with those who may not be familiar with your recruitment story. You are new to Milton. You kind of are a unique situation. You started out your career at one place, but you've transplanted yourself, and I think you're definitely going to be welcome there at the Empire. So if you just kind of want to share your story a little bit, Derrick, and how your recruitment, everything's going so far.
Everything's going amazing with my recruitment right now. Came here actually to Milton about in January, end of January. Started to actually be able to see some coaches, be able to meet with Coach Reeves and everyone. Just getting to know everyone. Recruitment's been amazing. I've been able to kind of connect with coaches and build that relationship right now as a sophomore, and just continue to just obviously be able to get scholarships and again just connect with them as be in the program as much as possible.
Most of the time when we talk about recruitment, we don't talk a lot about high school kids making that jump in the transfer. We talk a lot about, college kids making that jump from the transfer portal to transfer. But again, you bring a unique situation. You were at a pretty high file program back in Florida at Aquinas. Kind of talk a little bit about what made you as a player decide that you were going to make the stretch to go visit other programs, but ultimately end up at Milton and with Coach Ben's winning offense. We've seen what he's done in such a short time, back-to-back national, championships, and been number 2 in the country this past season. Luke Nickel is a tough act to follow, but you definitely seem like you're up to the task over there in Georgia. But kind of talk about, a lot of high school kids aren't, really pursuing that idea of transferring, but we see it more and more now. But kind of talk a little bit about, what made you, of all places you probably had your pick of as far as transferring to high school wise and having an opening, Derrick, that really led you down to Milton?
Well, I've always had an eye on Milton. I've known Luke for probably about 2 years. We both played. I played on C1N 15U while he was on the 18U, and I was actually able to connect with him a little bit and talk about the school. And obviously, I was able to watch some of their games and see how they developed Luke to be able to be where he is now at Miami and be such a amazing quarterback. And I felt like for my opportunity to develop, I felt like Milton was the best place.
And like we've said, I've talked a lot about Milton and the Empire and what they've done there, been able to develop, take Coach Ben Reeves, and of course that staff down there definitely taken a lot of young talent and put them on a lot of big rosters, and you definitely are looking to take shape in there. Kind of talk about, you talked a little bit about your recruitment. Definitely, you've been on the radar for some top programs, but first off, share kind of from a recruiting aspect, what are you looking for at your future program? I know you shared a little bit about that, and maybe talk about some schools that you kind of shown interest and have shown that mutual interest back to you, as far as schools that you're looking at or possibly offers on the table, maybe some visits that you're looking to take at the spring, unofficial or unofficially.
So for a school, I'm really just looking for a place with tradition, structure, and just a place that has the ability to show my skills and aspects and have the resources to do so. I know some schools probably like Miami. I've been able to connect with Alabama. I know I'm going there on a visit the fourth actually, and just a bunch of different places. Obviously, Illinois I've talked with a little bit, and just those different places I've been able to connect with, and I've actually been able to watch their games and see how they structure everything around their quarterback and how my game could fit in there.
Speaking of your game, for coaches scouting, scouts watching and maybe tuning into the show, we often talk about, we break down players, we break down your abilities, your talent, but as a quarterback, being one of the tougher positions, especially when it comes to high school recruiting, we see a lot more programs, a lot more diligent, a lot more selective when it comes on taking a chance, especially with the portal, Derrick being such kind of the go-to as far as getting a quarterback. But kind of talk about what you believe that you would be to a program, even though you may be a high school guy, with a lot of talent, promising young talent. But kind of talk about like some of the things that you could bring to the table that definitely could make you competitive in some of those big power four quarterback rooms that are looking to take a risk and take a chance on a young guy like you in the future.
Just first off, just being a leader to the team. Like as a quarterback, I had to always be the heart of the team, the heart and the brains of the team. Just to be able to have the ability to create that relationship with players where I can put my life on the line for them and I expect them to do the same. So I feel like just also my ability to do anything really, from throwing the football to using my legs. I have amazing accuracy. I've always worked on that, and just such a big arm to be able to push a ball down the field.
Nowadays with 7-on-7, we see in this off season, most teams obviously they have their spring ball if they get ahead, but that kind of in between time between, when you finish your season, hopefully you're playing a little bit into December, next season. But again, there's that period to continue to work and continue to create film. And people kind of have their opinions, Derrick, about, 7-on-7, what it's turning into, but can you kind of share how your experience with 7-on-7 continues to help you develop you? I mean, you play with a pretty notorious team out there. At the OT7, it was probably the best out there on the 7-on-7 circuit. Kind of share about your experience, how 7-on-7s help with you development, kind of get you out there, and kind of share, from a recruiting and prospects perspective of the 7-on-7 that you get to experience.
Just with the team I'm starting off with Coach Cam Newton. He's helped me a lot with, especially mentally in the game, not just seeing the field, but also being able to have that expectation of myself that I know I have to go out there and perform for the team. And also, especially at places like OT7, I'm able to showcase my ability to throw the ball, not just run, but to be able to place the ball, to a place where only my wide receiver can get it. Obviously, there was some clips of me throwing it to Travius or Devin or just a bunch of different players that are already up there, and now I'm able to just play with them and be able to give them a chance to win.
Do you think having that opportunity, like on the 7-on-7 circuit, being able, like you said, this is kind of a time where it's like an all-star cast where you really get to up your game because, like you said, you got a lot of type wide receivers that you get to have a connection with. Do you think that really, after you leave 7-on-7, you head back to Milton, get ready for spring ball? Do you think that that's really helped your game to be able to find connections with receivers that you only get to play with a certain amount of time, and you take what you get from there and you take it back to your home team and get to help? Do you think that that's really helped you be able to kind of branch out and expand your abilities as a quarterback and as a player?
Yes, I think it's extremely helped me. I know being able to just take little bits and pieces from Cam and from what other wide receivers see and how they play and bring it to my team and be able to even teach my team with what I've learned from Cam or other players, and then just be able to help the team overall.
You're talking about being able to be on the sidelines with one of the great college football players, of all time, Cam Newton. And he's just got it when you see him on the field, when you get to know him in person, you see that he's just got this extraordinary kind of dynamic personality, and that energy resonates in his field. But, I'm like, you shared a bunch of experiences on the sideline that he's given you, but what has been, some of the most meaningful advice that he's given to you as of late, as far as your recruitment and how you approach your game, that's just really, resonated with you?
So he's always talked about either being conservative with the ball or being smart. He always tells me to be smart. Take what the defense gives me and what I see. He's also taught me just be able to just be one person all the time. Always have the ability to just stay the same level, same attitude, same character all the time. Either if we're up 15 or if we're down 15, he he's a big part on that. Just being the same person. I know he has the ability to always show his emotion on the field, and he backs that by how he plays.
Mark, do you have anything you want to add, or any questions you want to add for Derrick? I know I've kind of taken a little bit over, but like I said, excited to have you on. A great, promising talent ahead, and like I said, excited for that home opener down in Georgia in just a couple of months to definitely get to see you. But I don't know if Mark, if you kind of want to add anything to the mix here.
Well, Derrick, as we check out some of you slinging it around on 7-on-7, I'm curious about your style of play in regards to not just your own personal style of play, but the type of offenses that you've run through your career thus far. And what type of offenses do you think you can acclimate yourself to and you respond well to?
Just officers that kind of form around my ability and the teammates I have. Cam Cam's ability to figure out where the open field is, and now he just uses his plays and kind of forms it around the players. So I know here, even at Milton, they form everything around the quarterback and the player they have. So the abilities they show on the field during spring practice, they're able to create plays and be able to perform them to the maximum ability.
And then just in terms of your next few steps in your progress as a quarterback, whether those are mental or physical, where do you see yourself like 6 months from now as an improved quarterback versus what you are right now?
Just mentally, I think just learning the field more, being able to be in here with the team and coach Jackson, the OC of the offense, just being able to just mentally learn everything and figure out why we run plays and what can help us win games.
Well, Derrick, we so much appreciate you being here, and best of luck in your football career and everything else in life and academics and so forth. And we know that you'll make a great decision with that upcoming at some point. And again, it was a pleasure to meet you and have you on.
Yes, it was definitely a pleasure to meet both of you. I definitely appreciate both your times and thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on. Go Empire.